What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Going Rounds podcast. Back to the solo game for this week because there's a lot to cover. And there's been a lot of technical difficulties. And there's just been a lot of stupid crap happening. So this week, I wanted to make sure that everything went smooth. It's always harder when I have a guest. And in case you missed it, I've had, about 3 episodes in the past month. But this week specifically, I've had 2 episodes where we did a pop-up podcast with the Technically Unsound podcast because Tommy is enjoying the sun and beaches of Hawaii. And he hasn't been around to podcast. So we've been doing it here with Magics and Infinity, and it's been fun. Next week we're back to normal stuff, I believe. So Infinity's like, we still watching. Well, thank you. Yeah, so this week I just decided I'm just gonna go solo since I've had them on for 2 episodes this past week, but I'm here and I made it happen, and I haven't had any issues yet, thankfully. I need to make sure that stays happening. No issues. But yeah, today I prepped. I did everything, and I feel good about it. So, and there's a lot to cover because there's been a lot of shit going on. Even today, right before I got on here, I found out all kinds of shit. I put it on. I prepped at the last minute even. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about. And I'm thirsty. But this past week, we did the pop-up podcast, and it was fun. We talked about a whole bunch of different things, a lot of technical stuff because of the issues I had. In case you hadn't watched any of those shows, you probably don't know that the watch party didn't go off like it was supposed to last weekend. So it was UFC 302, and the pay-per-view was on. I had Clark in here. I had Josh in here. I had Infinity, Magics, Tommy, and Christo in the room, and you could only hear them, and you couldn't hear any of us in the host himself. You couldn't even hear me. I had a whole thing happen with my mics and all kinds of stuff. So luckily I got everything working back for at least the one mic. I have some work to do to get things to work for my other mics. So the next pay-per-view, we can have everyone in here and do it all the right way and actually do it this time. But it was nice to watch the pay-per-view with everybody at my house. My kids are always here to watch and other people. So, I got to sit out there and chill and have a good time and not stress too much. Of course, it was in the back of my head that everything failed and I couldn't fix it. But it was a long day. I had a golf tournament. We had too much fun there. So I was tired, and the sun got to us too. So alcohol and sun, not a good mixture when it's that hot. But yeah. And that's, shit happens. It happens. It's okay. I was pissed off for a little while, and I was, barely able to get things scraped up together and be able to do the podcast on Sunday because I was hosting it. So I had to get shit together, and I spent all day working on things, and I got it together, and we did the podcast. It didn't go off like as smoothly as I hoped, but I learned some things, and we were able to help Infinity kind of move some of his stuff along too. So overall, not too bad. It could be worse. I'm here. I'm still doing it. All my stuff still works, and I just have to get it to work correctly and a little better. So looking at the upside of everything, we're good, and we're still here. So back to basics and back to just me for now. And we got a bunch to talk about. Like I said, UFC 302 last week was kind of, it was good, but it was just above mid, I guess you could say, because the early portions of the card were kind of boring. There was a lot of fucking decisions, and you know how that goes. If they're not in an all-out war, then it gets tough. So that part sucked. The main event was good. Didn't go the way I wanted, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And then things have been happening with Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. There's supposed to be a press conference. Dana announced that they was going to do it the Monday after the pay-per-view. Everything was called off. There's been so many rumors and so many things going on, so we got to get into that. We got to talk about that for sure. Natediaz and Jorge Masvidal are going to be boxing coming up in the near future, and they had a press conference like everyone does, and in usual Diaz fashion, he gets up and walks away, and then a brawl ensues. So we got to talk about that, and I got some video to show, so that's going to be fun. The Conor and Chandler talk is going to be in depth a bit, and Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, that shit's all up in the air too. So we got to talk about that. Recap 302 from last week, and then preview UFC on ESPN 57 coming up this weekend. Decent card, not too bad. And I made some picks. I actually got to them. I thought my prep work and stuff was going to keep me from doing it, but I brought back the picks and I made them, and I'll show them to you and we'll go over them. So yeah, that's about it. That's a little bit of a mashup of what's been going on and what we got to go over. So I just noticed my clock back there is wrong again. Somehow this stupid switch keeps getting turned off, and that turns off that clock, and then I go to set it, and for some reason every time it just never wants to stay. I'm about to just kick it to the side and make it stop because it's annoying me, or I need to find a different way to plug it in so that it stops getting unplugged or turned off, I should say. That's annoying. But I just noticed it is not 7:47. It is 7:07. and I spent like 10 minutes trying to set it because it's the most irritating thing to set, and it beeps every time you're trying to click. I was driving Michelle. It's haunted. I was driving her crazy. Speaking of Michelle, she's my wife is in the chat. But yeah, my stupid clock is annoying, and it's not haunted. We know why. We know what's happening. It keeps getting turned off, and that's not me. And it's not. We'll just leave it at that. The switch keeps getting flipped, and that's the problem. So, and it's a cheapy, stupid clock, but I like it in the background. I'm just gonna wind up getting a different one. No, I'm just kidding. I just got to figure out how to get it to stop turning off. So let me get another drink, and then we can get into all of the craziness and news that's been happening. I hope anyone that's caught the Technically Unsound podcast before and watched the pop-up podcast on this channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It's me talking about things that other than MMA, other than combat sports, and when it comes down to it, yeah, we talk about some stuff every once in a while that's maybe not the most popular shit to talk about, politics and people like that, and maybe topics that people may not like my views on or other people's views on. But listen, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I don't care if I have 10 viewers, 10 subscribers, or if I have 10,000, 10 million. I mean, maybe if I were to ever get that high, I might care a little more because that would cost me money. But right now, I'm not making money. And if somebody wants to unsubscribe, listen, fuck you and have a nice day. It's okay. If somebody doesn't like it, it's okay. It's not a big deal. And I really don't mean fuck you. I mean, good for you. Have your opinion. I'm gonna have mine. If you don't like it, cool. But I'm not always talking about that stuff, and I'm not always getting into that on this channel. We do the pop-ups whenever the other channel isn't able to be used. So when it comes down to it, I'm gonna speak on what I want to speak on, and I try not to go too crazy and too deep. And I've done it on this show before, where I get into some discussions and some opinions of mine that people may not like, but that's okay. I have my opinion, you have yours. It's all good. Everyone should be able to express it in a peaceful way and just express it. There's a lot of people that scream about First Amendment, freedom of speech. Let me fucking have mine, right? You can have yours, I'll have mine. Whatever. I might express that I don't like yours. You can express that you don't like mine. No big deal. It is what it is. And if you don't like my channel, see you later. Come back another time. Maybe you'll like it later. I don't know. Or don't ever. A lot of other channels. No big deal. So I don't stress too hard. It is what it is. So let's get into what we're here for. Let's fucking go and get started with the combat sports news of the week. We got Natediaz versus Jorge Masvidal. Oh man, I'm laughing because, dude, it never fails. I mean, obviously, people don't like Natediaz because he talks a lot of shit. He does what he fucking wants. Speaking of, I was just talking about that. Talks a lot of shit, and he does what the fuck he wants. But in the end, it may not be what everybody wants out of him, but he's entertaining, and he's pretty fucking popular, and he's a fucking legend. In the end, like, it doesn't matter. He's a fucking legend. He may not have the best record. He may not be the best fighter, but he's popular, and he attracts a lot of attention and people without even barely trying, because he is who he is. He's fucking real, and that's what the Diaz brothers have always been about. So, and it carries over, and it causes problems sometimes. And Jorge Masvidal is one of those types too, where he doesn't give a fuck. But Masvidal is a businessman, and he's a fucking promoter, and he knows the business side of things. And I don't know, he thinks of things a little differently, and that's fine too. But he still talks a lot of shit, and he gets into some shit, because this will throw down wherever, whenever. And when people challenge him, he doesn't back down. So we're going to see a lot of that here in a minute. But Diaz is the same way too. So that's why these guys boxing each other. They fought in MMA before. Wasn't the best fight for Diaz. Masvidal won. It was for the BMF title. That kind of sucked. And so people are kind of excited to, check it out and see what's going to happen in boxing. Like, Diaz is supposed to have been a great boxer. He's trained with all kinds of professionals. But when the fight against Jake Paul happened, he looked amateur. And I'm not, I like the guy. I'm a huge fan. He's one of my favorite fighters. But he did not look well. I heard a lot of rumors of, just not being in shape because he was injured and all this other stuff. He never really said that much, but that is what was being said and told out there. Regardless, Jake Paul made him look bad, and that sucks. I think more than anything, Diaz made himself look bad with the way he handled that fight and the way he fought. So I'm hoping he comes out and does a lot better against Masvidal. And if not, maybe he needs to think about things a little bit more and figure out what he wants to do. Not retire, maybe not, but maybe just stick with MMA and go a different route. I don't know. Who knows? But his MMA fights are always entertaining. All of his fights are entertaining. So that's the big plus, and people love his attitude and the way he handles things. So, but this wasn't handled very well. He gets up in the middle of the press conference, says, "I'm fucking sick of this shit. Big ups to all the other fights on this card. They're going to be great. Good, he's got teammates and other stuff that are fighting on the card." And he's like, "But fuck this shit. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of him." He's pointing at the guy asking questions. He's pointing at Masvidal. He's like, "I'm tired of all this shit. I'm out." He gets up and walks away. They try to face him off. He's just throwing up West Side and fucking flipping people off and not giving a shit and walking out. And then craziness happens because, of course, it's basically over at this point. And then his team starts talking shit to Masvidal. Masvidal starts talking shit to them. I don't know how it started. I don't know whatever happened. But check this shit out. That dude swung on Masvidal. I don't know who this long-haired fuck is, but... And that guy in the maroon shirt is Masvidal's trainer. And he kind of got jumped. But at the same time, I was hearing some other shit about how he actually busted some other dude open. There's Masvidal fucking trying to get his coach. They're telling him it's all good. Like, hey, it's not worth it. Just let it go. Homeboy got rocked, though. That's what sucks. He has a couple big knots on his head. There's Masvidal throwing up the 305. People trying to still take pictures. Of course, people don't give a fuck. They're like, "Oh, you just got in a brawl? Let me still get a picture." But yeah, craziness there. Of course, it's Diaz versus Masvidal and their teams. they like to fuck around too. And especially Diaz's team, you want to talk shit, you know, and I'm sure Masvidal was talking mad shit because Diaz walked away. Last time he's like, this fool doesn't know what business is like. He doesn't know how to promote. He has his own promotion, doesn't know how to promote it correctly. You can't just get up and walk away. But there's something to that, right? There's something to that. Fucking Conor's done it before. He shows up late. He does this. He does that. It's just showmanship. You know, I don't know that Diaz does that specifically for that reason. It's more about what he wants to do and doesn't want to do it. And half the time, it's just like, fuck this, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. But it continued backstage or back in whatever building they were at. I don't know what the fuck this was or whatever. They look like they're in some kind of venue. But, yeah, then Diaz started talking mad shit to Masvidal's team, and then this happened.
The mindset that you have coming into this fight.
Fuck you looking at? Come down and get your fucking asses whipped in. Sorry, motherfuckers. Yeah, turn around, bitch. Hey, your coach got knocked out. What?
Oh, shit. So now they're talking shit about how his coach got knocked out, which, I mean, that was Masvidal that down there. You could tell because he had the yellow shirt on. He had that on. We just saw in that other video. But, I mean, Diaz was fucking fired up.
West side, bitch, go home. You think you just sold another million pay-per-views? I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
See, that's what I'm saying. They ask him, you think you just sold another million pay-per-views? He's like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. All he's worried about is talking shit to whoever's talking shit and possibly scrapping again.
Let's go.
There he goes. Security's yelling, trying to stop him. Chris Avila's right there. He's fighting on this card too. Yeah, so that was it. I mean, I gotta play this part again because
fuck you looking at? Come down and get your fucking asses whipped in.
That's what I love, man. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, and Masvidal does the same shit, or actually he stays quiet, puts his hands behind his back, and starts walking towards you. You know you're gonna be in trouble. That's what he did to Leon Edwards, and then he served him up with the 3-piece in the soda. So these fools. They're both from the street, right? I mean, Masvidal was doing backyard, bare knuckle backyard fights with fucking Kimbo Slice on YouTube back in the day when he was fucking 19, 18. And Diaz has grown up in the streets of Stockton. I mean, you know, if you don't know, you should find out because both these fools have backgrounds in the streets. So that's how that shit goes. That's how they roll. Doesn't matter how much money's involved or whatever. That's what the fuck they're doing. So this is going to be a crazy lead up to this fight. I believe it's happening next month in July because it was supposed to happen June 1st, but they figured out that they probably shouldn't go up against the UFC's big pay-per-view for the UFC and all kinds of other fucking events that were happening this past weekend. So they postponed it. I think it's July 6th or 16th. I don't remember anymore. It's too many changes, too many different events. But, yeah, that's what's going down there. So then we have the UFC. Hey, there it is. I was like, my music didn't play. So we had this pop up on, what was that, Monday? Breaking news, UFC 303 Dublin press conference postponed until further notice. So, of course, that had everyone fucking like, what's happening? What's going on? The fucking press conference is postponed. We were looking forward to this because if you remember, back in the day, they did, for the Jose Aldo fight and for the Floyd Mayweather fight, they did like worldwide tours for press conferences. I mean, he's walking around in Brazil tearing up and burning pictures of fucking Jose Aldo in front, who's the king of Rio, and burning that shit and tearing it up in front of all those fans. And then he's saying fuck the Mayweathers everywhere he goes. So of course this was highly anticipated for this press conference to happen in Dublin, Ireland, of all places, you know. So the Irish are going to be going fucking nuts. And Michael Chandler has shown that he has some WWE kind of promos, you know, deep down inside of him. He's got the talk. He can talk it up. He can be exaggerated, and he can sell the promo. So this was supposed to be really good, and I was waiting for it. I couldn't wait to see what was gonna go down. And then of course it gets canceled. Why did it get canceled? Nobody fucking knows. This is all the UFC put out. Dear UFC fans, the UFC 303 press conference scheduled for Monday, June 3rd in Dublin, Ireland at the 3 Arena has been postponed until further notice. We sincerely apologize to all the fans who were planning to attend. When we have further information on a new date and time, we will share it immediately. Thank you. Bullshit. That reminds me of that meme with that little kid. Bullshit. That's all I could think of when I said that right now. if you pay attention to memes at all, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so everyone's speculating. There's all kinds of rumors. There's this, there's that. Fucking nobody knows, right? But everyone's trying to guess and figure out what's happening. Rumors of injuries, people thinking PEDs. Conor dropped dirty. Fucking Conor's in trouble with the law again. Conor's injured. Everything was about Conor. Conor too busy showing ass in movies. Infinity. He won't let that go. He saw his ass twice in Roadhouse. I mean, I'm with him. I saw it too many times, but he's always bringing up Conor's ass in the movie and in the way that he hated it, obviously, but that shit's funny. So yeah, nobody knows what happened. That, I mean, shortly after, there's, people reporting these things 2 times too much. Exactly. There was tweets going out saying, because people looked into all this shit. Everyone dives deep into this shit when they want to know, right? And this tweet from OOC MMA, UFC 303 no longer being advertised on pay-per-view. True, because I checked. UFC have privated the Conor McGregor free fight videos posted a few days ago. True, because I checked. Conor McGregor and Dana White have been silent. Well, I mean, that's obvious. Michael Chandler is posting self-help quotes on Instagram. That's true too, because I saw it. Shit's funny because that's what he was doing. He's just posting. He's like some gym chick just posting self-help quotes. Oh fuck. This is the shit. I mean, this is why I follow this shit. It's just too funny sometimes, and then you get wrapped up in the story and you start wondering what's happening with it, and then you can't wait to find out. We're waiting to hear something from Chandler, something from Conor, something from the UFC, something from Dana. Somebody fucking say something. Nobody's saying anything. The speculation's running wild, and then we get this: a canned fucking answer, or I should say statement, a pre-fucking designed statement, which I guarantee the UFC gave him this and told him to post this, or somebody did. But it says, in consultation with the UFC, today's press conference was canceled due to a series of obstacles outside of our control. I apologize to my Irish fans and fans around the world for the inconvenience and appreciate all your passion and support. I can't wait to put on the greatest all-time show in the Octagon. Who the fuck is this guy? That's all I gotta say, because that's not Conor. He didn't write that. There's no fucking way. There's no way. He would have said some other shit, and I'll prove that he would have said some other shit in a minute because I have something else to play for you. Because that's the real Conor, and you'll hear it and you'll know it right away. But this shit, like, what the fuck? What are you doing? This is some bullshit. I mean, everyone wants to wipe their ass with the paper this was written on and throw it away because it's just bullshit. So, and it doesn't even say anything like, oh, well, it says, I can't wait to put on the greatest show of all time in the Octagon, right? Sure, yeah, but when? When, motherfucker? You should have said, see you June 29th. Fuck the press conferences. I'm done with it. Let's go. The fight's on. I'm training. I'm taking it seriously. I'm ready. That's what he should have said. Or something to that effect. At least allude to the fucking date or something so that we know that the fight's still on. Instead, this cryptic bullshit. So, yeah. And in Chandler. Well, we're waiting for Chandler to say something. A couple days go by. All we get from Chandler is, if you're looking for me, I'll be out in Tennessee. No way out of the life we chose. Walk on. Another quote. Another fucking quote. He basically, what he's saying is, I guess he was training. I don't know if he was in Florida, Vegas. I don't know. I heard whatever, however many different fucking things. Wherever he was training. But he lives in Tennessee, so he's like, I'm out. I'm back. Going back to Tennessee, or I don't even know anymore. I can't even follow it because it This is what he said. And everyone's like, great, now the fight's fucking off for real. Like, if he's leaving training camp, then this fight's off. Or it's postponed and it's not happening for UFC 303 on June 29th. And a lot of people, it's a record-breaking gate, and the fucking fight is still, a little less than a month away. It broke records for the gate before it was even a month away. So people have made travel arrangements, flights, hotel stays, bought tickets, outrageously priced tickets, and then this fight's going away. And this is the main attraction. Obviously, it's the main event. It's fucking Conor McGregor. Yeah, so, and we're getting nothing, right? Well, a couple more days go by. Here we are, fucking Thursday. I mean, this all started Monday, so I guess a couple days here, a couple days there. I'm lying a bit. I'm exaggerating a bit, but whatever. They're not giving a straight answer, so I'm not going to give you the straight fucking timeline. I'm just going to fucking say things. Anyway, we're here now, and I think this was yesterday. Conor posted this. Just chilling. Ariel Helwani has been talked about it Monday, talked about it Wednesday. Monday, not looking good. Not looking good. He's talking about, him and other outlets are talking about the fact that they're actually looking for backup fights. They're looking for replacements. The UFC's putting out feelers, all this and that and the other fucking thing. Wednesday comes around and he says he's, at this moment in time, he's super optimistic that the fight's happening. And he says there's no foul play, there's no PED things, there's no dropping dirty, there's no problems with the law, there's none of that. There's no crazy allegations, none of that shit. All of it is getting sorted out, and that the fight's going to happen on the date that it's supposed to happen for UFC 303. Are we going to get it? I don't know. Because then you get this. Mr. Conor McGregor being himself. Here we go.
Friends, the notorious Conor McGregor here, yeah. I just wanted to give a little update, yeah. So, there's a lot of speculation at the moment about what is going on and whether there's been an injury or, I've been doing this or that.
And so right there, he talks about the injury, if there is one or not. Then he keeps going.
To be honest with you, I just don't give a fuck. The champ does whatever the fuck he wants, yeah? So, a lot of people asking what's going on with the fight game at the moment, why weren't you at the conference? So, look, I was sat at home in me jocks eating a fucking spice box.
What did he just say? Does anybody know? I need subtitles. What the fuck?
Chandler, if you're still alive, yeah, because, you've been waiting for this fight for a very long time.
Throwing jabs. If you're still alive, you've been waiting for this fight for a long time. What a dick.
I'm just, I'm fucking with you, brother. I'm just trying to scare him a little bit, so. And besides, the man's an ugly fuck, yeah? Your man looks like the fucking back elbow of a French bulldog.
The back elbow of a French bulldog. Who says that kind of shit? What the fuck?
Oh, yeah. And, everybody's tweeting at Dana, asking Dana, what the fuck's going on with the Mystic Mac? Dana was out on one with me as well, yeah? We were fucking going for it. We were having spice boxes and then we were out.
What the fuck is a spice box? What is he talking about?
Having fucking drinks with a forged Irish stout. We got people online saying I got forged Irish gout, so there's no...
Forged Irish gout. What the fuck? That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Go get a hold of Dana, because that man is fucking... He's been on it as well, so... God bless you all. I'll see you for a fight on June 30th.
June 30th. He doesn't even know when the fucking fight is.
Is that when it is? What? June 30th, so... I'm looking forward to the fight, so... June 29th, June 30th, fucking December 25th, whatever happens, I'm gonna walk out there with my fucking hand raised, so. But for now, I'm just having a good time, yeah? Just fucking do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, so, maybe I got duped. I don't know, because people make these things all the time. I saw it in a couple different places. I clipped it off, and I was like, you know what? I gotta fucking put it in. It's too fucking funny. So even if this is fake for some reason, but Conor does these all the time on Twitter Spaces or fucking X, whatever the fuck it's called. He does these voice notes all the time, and he deletes them right away, too. So apparently this got deleted right away. But people, of course, it's the internet. You can never delete it right away and think it's not been got. People have it, screen recording, everything. So they'll record phone to phone if they have to, but it's getting kept. So yeah, whether this is real or not, I don't know, but the shit was hilarious. So that's more of what we expect from Conor. So what's going to happen with this fight, we don't know. As of now, people are saying it's looking up, it's looking fine. Conor posts that picture. It looks like he's in a doctor's office, so maybe there is a bit of an injury, and they were a little worried, so they decided to cut the press conference, and they don't want to say nothing so they don't cause an uproar, but they did anyway. You do shit like that, and you don't say shit, people get crazy. So they lose their fucking minds and they start speculating, and then it's a game of telephone. This person tells that person person tells this person tells those people, and then the stories fucking change about 15 times. So, and that's the internet in a fucking nutshell. So I guess we'll have to just wait and see. So here we go with yet another fucking fight that no one knows what's happening with. Okay, so we get this saying postponed. The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, because if you didn't hear, Mike Tyson had a medical emergency while he was boarding a plane or deboarding a plane, or who the fuck knows at this point. But don't believe the fucking pictures of him in a wheelchair where he's wearing all white and they're pushing him in a wheelchair. That is not current. That was not him from this time. That was from like years ago. And I mean, it was posted everywhere back then, so people think it's from this time. It wasn't. So anyway, but he did have some kind of medical emergency, and they're saying that it was an ulcer flare-up. They said that the plane was like incredibly hot, that there was all kinds of other issues going down, and then he had an ulcer flare-up, and he like had to be hospitalized and all this other shit. And then he comes out and says, oh, he's fine, he doesn't have to be 100% to beat Jake Paul anyway. And then a couple days pass by, and now we're hearing basically the fight's canceled. I don't even know if that's 100% confirmed or not, but now there's all kinds of rumors and speculations again about if this fight's gonna go down at all, if it's just postponed or if it's completely canceled. And regardless, are they gonna cut out that Netflix date for July 20th? I don't know that that's something that they're gonna do. But it seems like Netflix is just pretty stern about having Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson and no one else. So they either get that or they're going to have to cancel it, because, yeah, they're going to have to push back their debut of these live, sports, like live action fucking sporting events. Are they going to do it? I don't know. But there's been all kinds of rumors about whether, someone's going to step in. The last thing I heard from and saw from all kinds of different outlets or whatever was that Roy Jones Jr. wanted to step in and they were considering it, but I don't know. Because we also had stuff like this happening because the Paul brothers are fucking trolls, right? But back in the day, they had their beef. They wanted to fucking do this or do that. Whether it's all for the cameras or all real, who the fuck knows? But, everyone asks them all the time, are they ever going to fight each other? Because Logan's boxed before. He boxed Mayweather. He boxed Dylan Dennis. He's been in he boxed KSI. He's been in all kinds of boxing matches before even Jake did. And, now Jake's the superstar fucking boxer out of them too. And Logan's in WWE. And he has a belt. He has like the US fucking title or some shit like that. Fake shit, whatever. But, so yeah, they can't box each other because everyone's going to think it's fixed, because not only are they fucking prankster YouTubers that you never know what to take seriously and what they're actually being real about. And also you have a guy who is in a strict scripted organization where everything is scripted. The outcome is scripted. Now, yes, of course, they take lumps, they get hurt. That's all real. And these guys suffer for the rest of their lives because they're out on the road for like 250 to 300 days out of the year. Shit's crazy. It's a crazy schedule. It's brutal on your body. I get that. But it is a scripted fucking outcome all the time, unless they go rogue, and then you never know. But that doesn't happen very often because the organization doesn't like that, I'm sure. So this fight can't happen. But Logan Paul says, so Mike Tyson's out. I'll step in and we can settle this once and for all. I can't even take it seriously. But, you know, there's obviously the KSI talk too, because Jake Paul and KSI hate each other. So they say, but that's always been the thing. And they talk about beating each other's ass all the time, but that never happens. Logan Paul is in business with KSI because they own Prime and whatever else they're doing. And then Jake and Logan are always fighting about the fact that Logan is with KSI. Jake has a partnership with Celsius, which is a competitor to Prime. There's all kinds of shit, right? And why do I know all this? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is all just shit I hear in passing, things I've heard since I started following Jake Paul and his boxing stuff. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen? I heard as much as like Quentin Rampage Jackson, fucking Ryan Garcia, Roy Jones Jr., fucking Canelo. I've heard all these people's names being brought up, and then Logan Paul, KSI, all these people's names being brought up about who is gonna fucking fill in for Mike Tyson. I'm sick of wondering. I'm just gonna wait and fucking see, because that's all we can do at this point. So, last bit of combat sports news. We have The Ultimate Fighter season 32. I watched I was about 88% through when I came in here. It's not, I mean, I said it from the get-go. How is this going to be interesting? Because first of all, these two women, Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko, wonderful, fantastic, super talented, elite fighters, right? Both of them. I respect them for what they do, and I respect them as fighters, but they cannot be entertaining. It's hard as fuck to understand what either one of them says. Alexa Grasso is from Mexico, thick Mexican accent. I mean, we know what that's about. We live in Arizona. We know I live within Arizona. I don't know about everybody else, but you know, Infinity knows what's up too. But Valentina Shevchenko is fucking Russian? No, Kyrgyzstan? Fucking I don't even know where she's from. No, where the fuck is she? She is Russian. Yeah. Whatever. I don't even know. But you can't understand what the fuck she says either. You need subtitles. Like, you have to turn the subtitles on when you're watching on whatever's on Hulu or fucking ESPN Plus, wherever the fuck you're watching it. You have to have subtitles on. It's hard as shit to understand what these girls are saying. I was biting my tongue. Infinity knows what I'm saying. It's boring as fuck, bro. That's what it is. And the other thing is, they're not even coaching women. They're coaching men. Now, I'm not saying that they can't do that. I'm not saying that this shouldn't be the way it's done, but it's just it throws off the dynamic a little bit. It's a little off. And then right away, Shevchenko comes out and fucking the first day of practice, the first thing she tells her fighters after they pick them and everything like that, first day of practice, she goes, just so everyone knows, this is how it goes down. She's from Who Caresistan. His favorite saying. First thing she tells her fighters is, you're not allowed to drink water while you're training. That's a sign of weakness. You can drink it before, you can drink it after, but while you're training, you don't drink water. Granted, she's saying this while her lips are chapped as fuck. So you're dehydrated, your lips are chapped, and it's very obvious. So what the fuck are you doing? What kind of crazy shit is this? And the first guy they show of her team is like, hey, this is just a true warrior spirit. Like, this is just showing that, you know, you can battle through the weakness. Listen, maybe I'm not built that way, but I mean, water's a fucking thing, a way of life. Like, you fucking need it. And sometimes it's hard to keep going. Maybe I'm just weak. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just weak. The Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko, is a fucking monster. So I'm not like that. I'm just saying, most people need water. Okay? Especially when you're training that fucking hard, and you're training that hard and you're working that hard and you're pushing yourself to the limits, and you can't even get water because you'll be considered weak. Cool. We got it. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. Whatever. First fight, not too bad. Goes to a third round. I'm in the middle of the third round. I had to end it so I can come in here. I'll finish it later. Nothing too crazy though. Kind of bored. I hate to say it, but I think the Ultimate Fighter, the model of this show, needs to either be fully revamped or they need to get the fucking rid of it. They have Dana White's Contender Series on Tuesday nights during that season. That's where they're pulling all their good fighters from anyway. I don't know if the Ultimate Fighter needs to keep going. I said this last year too. It is what it is. So watch it if you want to. Don't watch it. Who gives a shit? Just know that it's on, and it's on Tuesdays nights, I think. I don't even know because I just watched it today. And the biggest thing to come out of it was Valentina Shevchenko telling her fighters they can't have water. So that's it for Combat Sports News. Let's move on to UFC 302 and the fight between Islam Makhachev, if you want to say it correctly, but it's Makhachev. Whatever. That's what we all say because that's how it looks and we're American and that's what we do. Fuck at people's names. But it's Makhachev, if you want to know how it's truly said. I heard it so many times this week. I'm like, fuck. Against Dustin Poirier. Yeah, and then Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. Yeah, the Strickland and Costa fight was rough. Like, rough. We'll get there, obviously. Makhachev and Poirier, that was a pretty damn good fight. It didn't go the way I wanted it to. I wanted Poirier to win. If you didn't know by now, Poirier did not win. I'm sure you know by now, though. But we'll have to get into and talk about how it went down. So let me look at this, the lower card here, because I don't remember. So we had Aylin Perez, the twerker, versus Jocelyn Edwards. They had a beef before because they got into a scuffle at the UFC PI. And so, yeah, they've had beef ever since. They had a fight scheduled before, but somebody got hurt. So now they finally did it. Unanimous decision win for Aylin Perez. Nothing fantastic there. She tried to get Jocelyn Edwards to twerk with her afterwards, but to no avail. She didn't do it. But Aylin Perez twerked all over everybody and all the way up and down as she walked. So nothing crazy there. But Basil Hafez versus Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall drops the fight to Hafez. Unanimous decision for Basil Hafez there. Another fucking decision. Look, I'm looking at this from the bottom to the top right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row to start the card. From the beginning of the prelims, you get 5 fights in a row that go to fucking unanimous they go to decisions. And they were all unanimous except for one, which was a split. So, Jake Matthews versus Philip Rowe. Welterweight fight, unanimous decision. Grant Dawson versus Joe Selecki in the lightweight division, unanimous decision. Then we finally get a rear naked choke submission finish in the first round by Jailton Almeida versus Alexander Romanov. So Almeida gets the submission there in the first round. Finally, we get a fucking finish. And then we go on a fucking 3-fight streak again of unanimous decisions and 1 split. Roman Kopylov in the middleweight division versus Cesar Almeida. Split decision win. Roman Kopylov gets that one. Now we get to the main card. Another unanimous decision fucking win. This one for Randy Brown. I mean, he made it a bit more exciting, I guess. But he was fighting Easy Dos Santos. We're going to go with the easy way of saying that, and it's easy. Elizeu Zaleski Dos Santos. He lands his nice knee and a good uppercut here. He was definitely getting his striking on, looking pretty decent while he did it. He broke into some crazy patois, fucking Jamaican crazy talk at the end. I don't know. It was funny. It was actually entertaining listening to him like speak like these whole sentences and yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, here he is on the ground, big elbow, which leads to that submission, or I'm sorry, which leads to the decision win for him. He beat up Easy though, so at least that one was a somewhat of a more exciting fight, I guess. Moving on to Nico Price versus Alex Morono. Another unanimous decision win here. This one for Nico Price. I mean, I was thinking Morono was going to come out and do what he does, which is not look impressive physically. because he just doesn't look like your typical guy. He doesn't look like he's super in shape. He just looks like a regular dude. But he's a beast when it comes to fighting. But he seemed off, and he got tired very fucking fast, which is weird because, you know, you don't really see that out of guys like him much. He doesn't show very much emotion, so it's weird. And he has this face that just looks like he's a demon. I don't know. But Nico Price just did work and fucking came out with the win, which I was happy about because I had said, you know, I was asked who I was going for, who I thought would win this fight. I said Alex Morono's a beast. I don't know. You never know when he's going to come out looking like just crazy or if he's going to come out and just look off. And that's what happened this night. He looked off. He got tired fast. He couldn't do much, didn't put up much defense. So Nico Price takes it to the end, gets a unanimous decision win in the welterweight division. And that does it for that fight. Moving on to a bit more of an exciting fight with Kevin Holland, Mr. Big Mouth, who, like I said before, always puts on an exciting fight, whether he's getting his ass whooped or whooping somebody's ass. Now, I mean, the normal striking happened here with Kevin Holland, but finish came very quick. It was a minute 34 seconds into the first round against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, and he gets his armbar submission, but there's a little more to it because, as you can see here on the bottom, on the top, he's looking like he's screaming at the ref because he's got it fully extended and bending it backwards. And he's like, I was thinking I could just snap this shit and let the bone pop out the skin, or I could be nice and just let him tap or have the ref call it. Nothing happened. So he kept going. And I was over there screaming, fucking bridge up, arch your back and put your hips up. What the fuck are you doing? Like, that's all he had to do to finish that shit. It's either gonna break or he's gonna tap. But fucking do it, because he's over there messing with the arm. You could see he's pushing it to the side. He's trying all kinds of shit, and it's not working. So, I mean, he had to do what he had to do. Here he is turning and twisting, getting it in, sinking it in to where he finally had it. And here he is where he's yelling at the ref because look at that shit. It's straight back and starting to bend the wrong way. And everyone said it was broken. Oleksiejczuk actually argued and contested the stoppage because he definitely tapped. I mean, come on. He definitely fucking tapped. You could see it, but he was saying he didn't tap. And on top of that, the arm looked like it snapped. You saw a pop, you heard a pop. I mean, there's not much else you could do. So yeah, minute 34 seconds into the first round, Kevin Holland over Mikhail Oleksiejczuk in the middleweight division. Holland with the great armbar win, and Oleksiejczuk with a possible fucking broken arm because he didn't tap. I mean, it's one thing to go out when you're choked out and just fall asleep because you're gonna wake up in a few seconds and be okay, but you let your fucking arm snap. It's like, cool, dude, you're a warrior and all, but now you're out for a long time. Like, what the fuck? And your arm might not ever be the same when you get it snapped like that. So that sucks. But it was an exciting minute and 34 seconds of the first round. And then we move over into what we thought was going to be a great fucking fight. Winds up being a split decision win for Sean Strickland. All 5 rounds. Why they made this fight a 5-round fight, I have no idea, except for Strickland is probably the next in line for a title shot, being the #1 contender. Maybe they figured, hey, Paulo Costa is a formidable opponent, I guess you could say, even though he doesn't fight very often. He's been fucking slacking when it comes to that. 2 minute, and he fought once this year, so he's actually fighting twice this year now after this fight. But before that, he was fighting once a year, if that. So he just hasn't been active and hasn't shown much. And his last fight, he lost to Robert Whittaker. But, I mean, none of that mattered. He's still a name. Everyone knows him and was supposed to be a good opponent for Sean Strickland. But Sean Strickland is just so awkward, man. He has that crazy Philly shell style of fighting, like that fucking, whichever way he does it is very fucking effective because it doesn't allow his opponents to get shots in on him. Paulo Costa is the type to be like a marauder, just fucking run at you, throw strikes, hope he catches you on a counter or hope he catches you fucking leaning forward or some shit, and that's it. That's what he likes to do. And if he doesn't get that done in about a minute to a minute and a half, I mean, a round or a round and a half, then he's done for. For a 5-round fight, I don't know. I think he's gone 1 5-round fight, and that was against Izzy, which he's never been the same after that fight. He got his ass whooped, and then he got humped. If you remember, and if you don't, go check it out. Tommy, fuck Brazil. Just out of nowhere, coming in hot. Tommy says, fuck Brazil. I would expect nothing less. But yeah, Sean Strickland. I mean, I thought he was going to do more with this. I thought he was going to come out looking like, you know, just looking for a finish or at least wanting to do more. And instead, he just tried to be methodical, I guess. But in the end, it was just kind of boring, man. I hate to say it. I mean, he landed some shit on Costa, but I mean, nothing that was so crazy. I mean, he dropped him in the 5th round, and it wasn't even a drop. It was more probably off balance. He threw a kick. Let's see, I'm getting there. He threw a kick, and Costa fucking put his arms up and went to block it and got kicked in the arms, which then threw him backwards. I believe he was more off balance than anything. But listen, Strickland kicked him, so he knocked him down. It is what it is. He landed all these shots on him, you know, some flush, some not. But here's the kick at the end. And then he did some crazy fucking flying ninja kick that he was all proud of, but it didn't really do anything. So I don't know why. He was just like, did you guys like that? I was like, no, dude, it didn't do anything. I saw a bunch of memes where it's like, in no way, shape, or form should Sean Strickland ever do this again. And that, I mean, it's true. It was just dumb. I don't even know why he did it. But he did knock him down with this in the 5th round. Gets the split decision because some fucking moron of a judge thought that for some reason Paulo Costa won any part of any round in this fight, and he definitely didn't. Some fucking judge scored the entire fight for Paulo Costa. How? I don't know, because that guy needs to be taken out back and kick the shit out of him, basically. That guy, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But he judged another fight shitty too. So either way, Sean Strickland gets the win. Wasn't very fun though. He said it himself. Sorry guys, that was not an impressive win, and it wasn't fun. Sorry for the boring fight, he said. So that brings us to the main event with Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. And man, this was such a fucking disappointment. Only because, well, first of all, I'm disappointed because I didn't even put my Rogue in, and I was like, why do I feel like I need some nicotine? And it's because I never put my nicotine in my mouth. God damn it. I was rooting for Dustin. I wanted Dustin to finish the story. He's been on this long journey. He's been an interim champ. He's a badass dude, like, in general. As a person, the motherfucker has a crazy story. He does a lot for other people. He gives back so much. And, you know, he's all about his family and his daughter, his wife, you know, so much, man. So much is good about Dustin Poirier. And you can't help but like him. And if you don't like him, that's weird. But I mean, I get it too. I didn't like him at first because I didn't know his story, for one, and for two, when he fought McGregor, he was like young, he was doing weird shit. It was just weird kind of trash talk stuff. I don't know, it didn't seem right. I didn't know much about him, but you get to know the guy and you get to know his story and you see his journey and you see what he's done in his career, and you're just like, man, this dude's pretty impressive. He's fucking dope. Like, I like him. That's all there is to it. I like him. So I know it's like fucking quit sucking his, yeah. That's not what it is though. I'm just appreciating what the guy has done in his career. This might have been his last fight. That was the big talk. Is he gonna be done? Is he gonna be, is he gonna be happy with his performance enough to just go ahead and retire even if he loses? Will he retire if he wins? Because then he finally gets a belt. It's different kind of money, different kind of push from the organization, different life, kind of. So no one knew what was going to happen, and he's been talking about retirement. That's why people were saying, like, finish the story, you know, because his story is played out and we know everything about it, and it's like, is he going to get the belt and finish the story? He didn't, and it sucks. It sucks, but I mean, it's not that he went down like a bitch or anything like that. You know, he fought a hard fight, and he did his thing, and he lost. That's all there is to it. It's unfortunate. Islam Makhachev is a fucking animal, man. Like, he's on a 14 fight win streak. He doesn't have the most impressive like schedule behind him as far as who he's fought. Nothing like Dustin Poirier's, that's for damn sure. The strength of schedule is fucking just crazy amount different, and in favor of Dustin. But Makhachev has gotten the belt and retained the belt, and you know, he's defended it a few times, even though 2 out of those times have been against Islam Makhachev, who's a smaller fighter coming up in weight and stuff. But it is what it is. Like, he won the belt, he's been able to defend it, and he still has it. And this was one of his toughest fights. I mean, Volkanovski, that first fight that they fought, I feel like Volk could have been given that fight. This one, it's pretty obvious that Dustin lost, especially because it was a finish. But had it gone to the judges, he would have lost for sure. During the fight, I was thinking that maybe it was like 2-2 going into the 5th round. Anything could happen, right? The fight ended in the 5th round, and Dustin got choked out. But I was talking to, you know, Dylan, my daughter's boyfriend, and everyone else here at the house, and I'm thinking it might be 2-2 because I'm watching the rounds, and I'm like, you know, it could be called this way, it could be called that way. Dustin was putting in work. He fucking busted up Makhachev. He opened a huge gash over his eye. He threw a couple extra elbows in there to keep making it bleed and open it up more. You know, he put the work in, but he just couldn't put it together enough to actually hurt Makhachev and make him stop, because Makhachev has this crazy strength. His wrestling, his grappling, it's elite. It's high level, and it's not that Dustin can't deal with high level elite grapplers, but there's just no one has been able to really just tamper down what Makhachev does. He's like Khabib. I mean, he's Khabib's protege, and that's what they do. Those Dagestani fighters, they fucking wrestle, they grapple, and they're fucking strong as shit. And they have a gas tank. I mean, Makhachev at one point in time did look a little tired, but they keep going. They don't stop, and that's their game. That's what they do, and that's why Khabib was able to, you know, retire undefeated. So, and again though, his strength of schedule wasn't the best either. So when we talk about these guys, we know what they do. We know what they're gonna do. But Makhachev does have better striking than Khabib did, and I'm a huge Khabib fan. He is one of my favorite fighters always. And but I will say Makhachev has way better striking, and he knows how to use it, and he uses it well. So, you know, he busted up Dustin. You know, Dustin stays in there like the G that he is, as you can see here, bloodied up, still with the tongue out, still hiking up the shorts, that crazy nervous tick that he has. Whatever it does for him in the fights, it usually works. The meme used to be, when you see Dustin Poirier do this and he's hiking up his shorts, you know you're about to go down. And don't take that wrong. I mean, you're about to go, like, you're about to get your ass whooped. But, you know, he's evolved to the point where now it's just a tick, and he does it all the time. Like, you're talking first round, comes out, hiking up the shorts. Like, all right, man, you killed it a little bit with that, but that's what he does. But Makhachev was just too much for him, man. Landing everything, even though you could see Makhachev's eyes there a little busted up. I don't think he had the huge gash yet, but he was catching Dustin, right? Dustin's trying to put the boxing on him, trying to get in on him using the jab. It's not working. Fucking Makhachev's just countering and finding the openings. Dustin wouldn't take his head out the fucking center line, and that's what sucked. Because I'm just like, bro, move your head. What are you doing? Like, every time, as you can see here, this picture says a lot. because Makhachev's going backwards, throwing a punch out there. You could tell it landed on Dustin because Dustin's moving straight in, leaning forward with his head in the middle. Like, you can't. I mean, I'm not a trainer. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a professional. I'm not none of that shit. But I've seen enough fights to know that you can't do this. Now, don't get me wrong. He fought a great fight, but that was one of the things that I noticed a lot, and it sucked that he didn't change it. It sucked that he didn't recognize what he was doing. And if his coaches told him to stop doing that, he wasn't listening. The other thing that sucked is, you know, he didn't even jump to Gilly once. And if you know the story behind that, we were waiting for it. I was hoping he got the win that way, but he never jumped to Gilly, not even once. So Makhachev's too much to handle. Here he is, both bloodied up, both fucking beaten, you know, just in the trenches here. And then Makhachev with this crazy ankle pick scoop, he like fucking cartwheeled Dustin and then wound up on top, sinking in the choke. Islam gets the sub right here, and Dustin didn't go out until Islam's holding it. The fight gets called, and then he lets it go, and I guess as soon as he let it go, Dustin tried to get up, and everything, all the blood rushed to his head, and he fucking went out. So he did go out, but he didn't go out until after the choke was let up, which is weird, but it happens. And yeah, that was it, man. Fucking Dustin lost. It sucked. There was so much going on in the lead up to this fight. Nothing was said about injuries or anything like that to Dustin, but when they were doing their pictures before the fight, you know, they always do updated pictures and all this. You saw something on Islam's leg, and these guys seem to always have staph of some sort. It's crazy. But he had this spot on his leg, and everyone was worried that the fight might get canceled or something might happen because he has staph. I mean, it's pretty obvious if you know what it is, if you know what it looks like. I've seen it so many times in fighters that I recognize it now whenever somebody points it out. But yeah, you can see here during the fight, you can see how there's that spot on his leg. And afterwards, he did confirm that he had staph. It says Islam Makhachev confirms the rumors of him having a staph infection. He says the infection affected him for about a week upon his arrival to New Jersey, 3 weeks before the fight. He says he didn't train for a week so it wouldn't spread further, but never considered pulling out of the fight. But he was also on antibiotics. You know what that does to your cardio. It makes you tired, it makes you sleepy, and it just zaps all of your energy and motivation. So when, you know, they have to take the antibiotics to get rid of the fucking staph, because if you know what staph is, you know it can get bad. You can lose a limb, you could die, because it's just a nasty infection. So, and it's just one of the worst ones you can get. So he definitely had it, and he still fought with it, and he still fucking came out on top. So that says a lot about the strength and the type of person and fighter that Makhachev is. So, but besides that, I mean, Dustin got all kinds of injured, and I know this is fucking nasty, but it's a crazy ass picture because Dustin got his nose fucking broken. He had, at this point, I mean, just the amount of blood, and I mean, obviously that's mixed with some snot, and it's fucking gross, but it was too good not to show. And it just shows, like, look at his face, man. You can just see the determination in his face and like how he felt about that moment. He's like, fuck, I'm bleeding this shit and I don't give a fuck. And he knows his nose is fucked up and it got broken. These were his injuries. He tweeted this I think yesterday. Nose is broken bad, rib is broken, and my ACL is partially torn. Fight life. Now, in the middle of the fight, I think it might have been the third round, maybe it was the third round, where he was posting up trying to fucking you know, he was grappling and kind of in a clinch position with Islam against a cage. He had Islam against a cage, and he did it. He was just like you know, basing out, and his legs spread, and then I thought maybe he tore his groin or fucking pulled his groin or something, because you heard him say, ow, oh shit, and like he's saying something to his corner. Turns out he tore his partially torn ACL. That's what happened. It was his knee. So that sucks. We knew his nose was broken because of how bad. You can see it on his face. He's got the fucking puffy cheeks right here under his eye. I mean, that eye's fucked up too. But you know, and then the blood that we just saw in that picture. I mean, it's obvious. His nose is fucking broken. But the rib being broken, he doesn't say it here and he hasn't said it himself. But Ariel Helwani reported that the rumors were that that rib had been broken before the fight. So he went in there fighting with a fucking broken rib. These guys are crazy. Like, to be able to go in with these kind of injuries and fight a fucking 25-minute, 5-round war and hold up. Like, it's nuts, man. That's why I love this sport. That's why I respect the fighters. That's why I respect the sport in general, because they have to put up with so much. And that's why I point out that in WWE, you know, they get busted up, they get bruised up, they get lumped up, all that shit. And I do respect that part of the game for them. And they have a crazy schedule. So whether it's scripted or not, they do go through a lot, and I have to respect that. But Dustin is a fucking G, and he's yet to say whether or not he's retiring. He went home to Lafayette and got a hero's welcome at the airport. It was pretty cool. It was tough watching his an interview that he had, you know, the post-fight interview with Rogan, where he was talking about, this may be my last one, and if it is, I want to say this, that, and the other thing. He talks about his daughter and his wife. See his daughter kind of standing there. That's the first time she's ever seen it live. And he's like, hey, to my daughter, you're my life, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, don't worry, daddy's okay. And she's like standing there. You could tell she's ready to cry. And then she just buries her head in her mom's leg and just starts bawling. And dude, it was tough. It was like tough to watch that and hold it together. It's like, damn, you know, I got 2 girls of my own. They may be adults now, but just watching a little girl like that, you know, start to cry because of her dad, it's like, fuck. It was tough, but it was a cool moment at the same time, you know. Dustin's just a badass dude, and I appreciate him so much more now than I ever did before. And I hate that it took me so long to understand his story and his career. And if this is the end, shit, thanks, Dustin, for all the good fights and all the memories and all the good shit that you do for people. And if not, then shit, best of luck on your next one, and I'll be waiting, because every Dustin Poirier fight is a good one. So that does it for UFC 302. It's in the books. Last pay-per-view for first pay-per-view for this month, I meant to say, because we have another one at the end of the month. Where's my drop? Another one. DJ Khaled. I don't have my drops up right now. I do need to make a folder or a button as I almost knock over my laptop, so I can get all these drops in here, because I play them all the time when I'm on the Technically Unsound podcast, and I always find times when I could use them right now, and I just trying to go through everything. I'll fuck something up, so I gotta go through pages and pages to get to them. But I need to make a folder and just be able to quick hit that, or get another stream deck over here, straight soundboard. What do you think, Tommy? Anyway, let's move on. Last thing of the night, we got a preview. UFC on ESPN 57. Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov. Fuck, I don't know. I just heard earlier John Anik telling us how to say it, and I already forgot. I think it's Imavov. Imavov, yeah. Because most people say Imavov. Whatever. I'm not a fucking professional linguist or whatever you want to call it. Fucking whatever. Nasruddin Imavov. Fuck it. Yeah, so this is happening Saturday. I don't know why I just went on that rant. Just fucking talking a lot and yeah, getting delirious. Let's see who is on the undercard. Not a lot of notables, I don't think. I finished the old fashioned, so I got to go to the trusty twisted peach, because I had a bunch of peach. I don't know why. So I figured I might as well start knocking them out. But we had Cody Stamann in the bantamweight division versus Taylor Lapoulos. I said we had. I mean, that's what we have, because that's coming up. Let's see who else. Andrea Lee, KGB, fighting in the flyweight division versus Montana De La Rosa. That should be actually a good one. Andrea Lee likes to strike, a lot of kicks. Montana De La Rosa is a great grappler, wrestler, submission artist, but she can strike as well, so that should be a good one. Brad Katona, 2-time Ultimate Fighter winner in the bantamweight division versus Jesse Butler. Let's see, Charlie Radke versus Carlos Prates in the welterweight division there. And then Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. That should be a good one as well in the lightweight division. That's your prelims, undercard. Let's move on to the main card and bring this home. Miguel Baez versus Punahele Soriano. I don't know a whole lot about Baez. I know I've seen him fight before. This is a welterweight fight. Baez is 31 years old, 10-3 in MMA, 3-3 in the UFC, 7-2 in KO, TKOs, 1-0 in submissions, 2-1 in decisions. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. That's fucking tough. And I mean, he's got 6 fights in UFC. He's got a 500 record. That's rough too, but I mean, that's not a lot of fights, so it happens. Punahele Soriano, 31 years old as well, 9-4 overall, 3-4 in the UFC, losing record there. So this is like a fucking fight to stay in kind of thing, because if you know the UFC, if you lose 3 in a row, you're usually done. So for Baez to still be here, this is probably his last attempt at sticking around in the UFC. And then Soriano, unless you're a fucking superstar in the making, if you have a losing record, it's tough to stay in the UFC. And if you're on a 3-fight losing streak, and Soriano's going for his 3rd loss here, not going for it, but I mean, if he loses, it's his 3rd one in a row, and that might mean the end of his UFC career for the moment. I mean, they can always bring him back, but that's what it is. Not great in decisions, losing record there. Submissions 2-1, KO TKO 6-1. I mean, I am kind of going for Soriano here. I do like Puna. I don't know. I just kind of like his fight style and stuff. He may have a losing record, but there's something about him that stands out to me. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'll pay a little more attention to this fight this time and see if I can figure out what that is. Like I said, I don't know much about Baez. He's one of those real quiet fighters that I don't know. There's just so many fighters on the roster. It's hard to know every single person. But Punahele Soriano stands out to me for some reason. And yeah, I think I'm picking him for this fight. I think he's hungry, and he's definitely got the skills and talent to get the win over Baez here. So I'll be rooting for him. Let's move on to Julian Marquez versus Zachary Reese. Reese is another one of those guys I don't know a whole lot about, but Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis, which I don't know why the fuck that's his nickname, but it's kind of catchy and it's kind of funny. So he's a weird dude. He did this he always says something crazy after like a win. On the mic, he says shit that's nuts. One time he called out fucking Miley Cyrus and was like asking her out on a date and shit. And then the dumb motherfucker dropped the bag because he fumbled the bag, I should say, when it comes to that, because she actually responded and told him to like shave her initials in his hair, chest hair. And he's like, nah. And she's like, well, I'd go on a date with you if you did. And he's all, nah, I'm good. Like, what the fuck? Just do it. I mean, do it for the story at least. Like, come on. You're going to call the bitch out and you're not going to fucking take her up on her request? You could grow the hair back, bro. You're pretty hairy. I'm sure it grows back fast. It's fucking weird. I don't know. It's just a weird story that's stuck in my head. But Zachary Reese, I haven't heard much of. I mean, I don't know much about him. I heard he's a pretty good fighter. People are siding with him on this fight. Marquez is 34 years old, 9-4 overall, 3-3 in the UFC. 6-2 in KO TKOs, 3-0 in submissions, and don't let this shit go to decision because he will lose. He's 0-2 there. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Reese is 30 years old, 6-1 overall, 0-1 in the UFC. That's tough, but I mean, it's one fucking fight. You win it or you lose it. 50-50 chance of having this record, right? You're either 1-0 or 0-1, unless it goes to a fucking no contest or something. 4-1 in KO TKOs, 2-0 in submissions, 0-0 in decisions. He's never gone to decision. So he might be looking to end this quickly. Marquez is down for a brawl, I'm pretty sure. So both of them coming off losses. We'll see how this goes. Marquez looks like the bigger fighter for sure. I mean, he's got heavy hands, but I mean, he doesn't do a lot of anything specifically. So here he is. Oh, and this is Reese throwing in a submission. Dana White's Contender Series, I believe, is from where this is from when he got the win to get in to the UFC. Moving on to Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Fucking weird name. And Bruno spelled with 2 N's is fucking off. I don't know. I don't even know. These fucking names throw me off sometimes. Bruno's 31 years old though, 11-1 overall, 2-1 in the UFC, 8-1 in KO TKOs, 3-0 in submissions. No fights have gone to decision for him, and he's coming off a win. And I just noticed my graphic here is fucked up when it comes to the numbers for Stoltzfus, but whatever. Canva was acting real dumb for me last night. That's where I make all these things. But I tried to make a new one just to freshen it up a little bit, and look what happens. Pain in my ass. Stoltzfus is 32 years old, 15-5 overall, 2-4 in the UFC. Losing record, that sucks. 2-1 in KO TKO, 6-2 in wins. I mean in submissions, and then 6-2 in decisions. He's coming off a win though, so he may have that losing record, but he is coming off a win. He looks like a guy, from what I've seen of him fight, he does look like a kind of guy that could put together a nice win streak and maybe become a contender. But with that losing record, it's tough. It doesn't look like he should be losing those many fights, but he does. Bruno Ferreira had his hair fucking bleached at one point in time. It's weird. But I mean, a lot of these guys from Brazil do that. I'm not sure why they like it so much, but they do. But Bruno's got some good striking. So does Stoltzfus. I mean, this could be an exciting fight or a really boring one. You never know. This is one of those fight night cards that you never know what's going to happen. You got a lot of fighters that are either not well known or not well known in one way or the other, as far as a finisher or, you know, someone that takes it to decisions. So it's a toss up, but let's hope it's a good fight card. Let's move on to Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. Rosas Jr. being the 19-year-old who started in the UFC. He fought in Dana White's Contender Series when he was 17 years old. Gets his first official UFC fight when he's 18. And now he's 19. Fighting in the UFC versus the Ultimate Fighter winner, Ricky Turcios. Ricky's kind of a crazy dude. Wild looking fucker. Long hair. He looks a little different than he does in this picture. He looks a little different now. But yeah, he's kind of a wild dude. Unpredictable. And he did win the Ultimate Fighter in his season, which might have been the last one, I think so. But like I said, Rosas Jr., 19 years old, 8-1 overall, 2-1 in the UFC. He suffered a pretty, wasn't a crazy loss, but he just did not look good in that fight. He said he was just not feeling well and all kinds of other shit. And you know, he got this fight was set up before, but he got sick and they had to cancel it. So this is like the rescheduled fight finally going down. 2-0 in KO TKOs for Rosas, 5-0 in submissions, 1-1 in decisions, and he's coming off a win. Ricky Turcios, Ultimate Fighter winner, 30 years old, 12-3 overall, 2-1 in the UFC, 3-1 in KO TKOs, 1-0 in submissions, and 8-2 in decisions. Also coming off a win. Raul Rosas Jr.'s win was against Terrence Mitchell. His only loss was against Christian Rodriguez. That was a unanimous decision. His last fight was a win against Terrence Mitchell here. TKO by punches in 54 seconds into the first round. So he got back on the horse pretty quick there. And, you know, hoping to put together some good wins, get on a win streak and keep, you know, climbing that ladder in the UFC. Ricky Turcios, Ultimate Fighter winner. I keep saying that because he was, I mean, while that show isn't the best thing in the world, For them to go through and fight as many times as they do, cut weight as many times as they do, and come out a winner of the show overall in their weight class, it's impressive, and I have to give him props for that. So he's coming off a win over Kevin Natediaz. That was back in November of 22. It was a split decision win. All of his fights in the UFC have gone to decision, so there's something of note. And he's 2-1 overall. So lost one by decision, won 2 by decision. So, and the 2 that he won were split decision. So that kind of tells a little something about his fighting. I mean, he hasn't won anything by unanimous decision, and all of his fights have gone to decision. So maybe it's his opponents, maybe it's him, but that might be something to look for. Raul Rosas Jr. likes to come out and be flashy and take chances. He's young, and he likes to throw flying attacks as well. So this could come out to be exciting and a quick fight, or if it gets drug out, maybe Tercios can out cardio Rosas and come up with the win here. Not sure, but I think I picked Rosas in this one, and I will give some odds along with my picks at the end of this. Let's move on to the co-main event with Dominic Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby in the light heavyweight division. Dominic Reyes, 34 years old, 12-4 overall, 6-4 in the UFC, 7-3 in KO, TKOs, 2-0 in submissions, 3-1 by decision. Here's the thing. He's on a 4-fight fucking losing streak. But those 4 fights were to big names. Ryan Spann, Yuri Prohaska, former champion, Jan Blachowicz, former champion, John Jones, former champion. He started this 4-fight losing streak when he fought John Jones for the belt. A lot of people think that Dominic Reyes actually won that fight. He was pretty impressive. He kept up with John Jones, and he actually did some damage, and he made John Jones look bad. So a lot of people thought that he won that fight and he should be the champ, and instead he lost it by unanimous decision. So it doesn't sound like it was close, but it was definitely a lot closer than that. Loses a John Jones fight by unanimous decision, and then goes on a fucking 4-fight losing streak, including that fight, losing by TKO, KO, and then KO again. No fight since John Jones has gone past the second round, and he's lost all of them by TKO or KO. So that's fucking tough. Oh shit. And I like Dominic Reyes. I thought he was impressive before. He had wins over Chris Weidman, Volkan Ozdemir, Ovince St. Preux, Jared Cannonier. Those are big names as well. He was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 6-fight winning streak in the UFC. He went 6-0 until he met John Jones for the title and lost. And now he's on a 4-fight losing streak. So it's tough, man. That's the way it goes, though. Dustin Jacoby's 36 years old, 19-8 overall, 7-5 in the UFC, 12-1 in KO TKOs. So you know he likes to strike. 1-2 in submissions, not great. 6-5 in decisions, and he's coming off a loss to Alonzo Menefield, which not a bad opponent there. Alonzo's a beast when he wants to be, when he comes out and is on his game. So he's kind of an off and on fighter. Win, lose, win. But he's fought Kennedy and Nzechukwu, Khalil Roundtree, Mikhail Olegzaychuk. So, he's fought some names. Dustin's he's a good fighter. And I think he has potential here to win against Reyes, especially with Reyes being on a 4-fight losing streak. If Dustin can... if Reyes comes out like he has in his past 4 fights, it's not going to look good for him, and Dustin's going to take advantage and, be impressive. But if Reyes can catch him, he's got the power, he's got the speed. He just has to put it all together and get out of this mental block that he's been in since the John Jones fight. And he can definitely do damage. So he needs to come out with a better mindset and hopefully do better in this fight than he has in the past few. But Jacoby has that nice record with the 12 KO TKO wins. So he definitely likes to strike, and he knows how to land. Regardless of his record overall or coming off a loss, his losses have all been by decision. So if he goes to decision, it's not going to look good for him. His wins are TKO, KO, decision, TKO. So it's kind of even there, but he can definitely win by TKO or KO, which can make it exciting. And if Dominic Cruz, if Dominic Reyes comes out ready to strike, and this could be a very exciting fucking fight. I lost my spot. But yeah, I mean, Jacoby can, kick and punch when it comes to striking, and he has power in his legs and his hands. So I have to pick Jacoby in this one just because of Reyes' his past 4 fights. I like the guy, but I don't know what kind of mindset he's going to come into this fight with, and how he's going to be feeling, and what he's going to do. I'm surprised he's still in the UFC. So it's going to be tough. I'm rooting for him just so that he doesn't get cut, because he is a good dude. But, I mean, it's tough when you have a record like that, and he needs to get over that mental hurdle of losing to John Jones like he did, and just start putting together some wins. So that's it for the co-main. Let's get to the main event and bring this thing home. Jared Cannonier versus Nassourdine Imavov. Jared Cannonier is 40 years old, but that motherfucker is built. I mean, you can see he's fucking ripped. It's kind of crazy because you look at him and you don't think that he's 40 years old. Especially, I mean, Imavov. God damn it. I don't remember which way is the right way to say it, so I'm going to say it both ways. Fuck it. But this is a middleweight fight. Imavov is, I mean, it's not like he's out of shape, but compared to Cannonier, goddamn, Cannonier is just a beast. But he is 40 years old. Don't let that age fool you, though. He can still whoop some ass. He's 17-6 overall, 10-6 in the UFC, 10-2 in KO TKOs, 2-0 in submissions, 5-4 by decision, and he's on a 2-fight win streak, with wins over Marvin Vettori and Sean Strickland. Those were his past 2 fights. Strickland was in 22. That was a split decision win. Marvin Vettori was last year in June. That was a unanimous decision win for him. Before that, he lost to Israel Adesanya for the title in 22. That was a unanimous decision loss for him as well. So, I mean, he has the talent, he has the skills, but will Imavov, be able to, just be better than him on this night? I'm not sure. I did pick Imavov. Oh man, this fucking graphic was fucked up too. God damn it. This makes me mad. But like I said, Cannonier is a beast. He's got big strikes. He's got big power. He has a winning record in all methods of winning. So he can submit, he can strike, and he can win a decision. This is him punching Sean Strickland, which somewhat makes me happy. Another big left here against Vettori. Those were his last 2 fights. Big knee here, also against Vettori. Just 2 of his impressive wins. I mean, and then against Strickland again. That's a big punch. And I don't know, I kind of like this picture in general. He's kind of got that iconic kind of poster look of a, like Superman punching somebody or some shit. I don't know. It's kind of a cool picture, and it helps that it's Sean Strickland getting punched, because everyone knows how I feel about Sean. I mean, I've kind of chilled a little bit on that one, but still, Sean says some dumb shit, and it makes me mad. But Imavov is trying to beat his older opponent. He's only 29 years old, so he's definitely the younger guy, hoping to be faster, hoping to have better cardio. But I mean, with Cannonier being as built as he is, it's tough. Imavov is 29, 13-4 overall, 5-4 in KO TKOs, 4-1 in submissions, 4-3 by decision. Coming off a win over Roman Dolidze. Before that, it was a no contest to Chris Curtis. and then he actually lost to Sean Strickland. So, but that win against the Elite was a majority decision, so that's kind of weird. And then the no contest against Chris Curtis was an accidental clash of heads. And the fight against Strickland was a unanimous decision loss for him. He's fought Joaquin Buckley, Edmund Shabazian, Ian Heinisch, Phil Haas. So some decent names going on there. Lost to Haas, but won against the rest of those guys. A lot of decisions or TKOs is kind of how things go for him. His submissions don't come in until way back, where he had 2 in a row in 2019. So he's got the capabilities of doing it all. But his striking is impressive. Big punch there. Nice kick. And then another punch. Oh shit. I just realized I might have screwed something up. Let me make sure this is right for the next one. And it is. Okay, cool. So with this one, I went with Did I go with Imavov? Whichever one. I believe I did. But we're going to see in just a second, because I do have my picks sheet that we will go over. This should be a good one for a main event. There's a couple pretty decent fights on this card. I recommend checking it out if you like watching the UFC, which if you're watching this, you probably do. So, should be a decent fight. Let's get to my picks overall with some odds. These were odds taken from DraftKings Sportsbook just right before I did this. So, main event, Nasruddin Imavov, -122. I'm picking him to win over Cannonier. Dustin Jacoby is a -245 favorite to win over Dominic Reyes. Raul Rosas Jr., -230 favorite to win over Ricky Tercios. Bruno Fajeda, -290 favorite over whoever the fuck he's fighting. I forgot. And then we got Zachary Reese, +120 underdog. Let's see, Fajeda's fighting. Oh, Stoltzfus. Zachary Reese, I'm picking him to win over Julian Marquez, but he's a +120 underdog there. And then I got another underdog, +160, Punahele Soriano to win over Miguel Baez. So those are my picks. Do what you will with them. If you like them, bet on them. If you don't, no big deal. I don't give a shit. I'm not betting either. I always put up these graphics up there where it says main card picks. If I have the money bags next to them, that means I'm actually betting on them. If I don't, I haven't put any money down. And this is proof right here, because I didn't put any money down. I'm not betting on this fight. At least I don't think so. So as of right now, I'm not going to. So I put up this graphic without the money bags next to it. That's how you know the difference for future reference. And that does it for UFC on ESPN 57. And that does it for episode 101 of the Going Rounds podcast. I appreciate everybody that stuck around and watched through all the way through. Thanks for putting up with my technical difficulties. It sucks that we didn't get to do the watch party. I know Infinity was looking forward to it. It was his first one. I was excited for it. It was a long day. It's been a long few weeks, actually. The weekends have been stacked. This weekend, I'm hoping to just kind of get some stuff done around the house and relax, chill, try to get my setup here back in order with the mics and everything. So I have a couple weekends to work on it, but work takes a lot of my time. So it's hard to do anything during the week because I'm doing prep for the show that week. And then I podcast with the Technically Unsound podcast going live Sundays and Tuesdays. So don't forget to check out Technically Unsound YouTube channel and watch us there. And don't be offended. Don't be a bitch. And just enjoy the fucking show. Laugh and watch us bullshit. And try drinks, because that's what we do. We like to try all kinds of stuff like this. I mean, we've tried different types of hard teas, different types of seltzers, stuff like that. We do it all the time. Buzzballs, beatboxes. Go check it out. You got a taste of that happening this past week with the 2 episodes we did on this channel. Sunday and Tuesday of this past week. We did one other one Sunday before that. If you want to check those out, go back to this YouTube channel and check it out. Otherwise, besides that, don't forget to watch the fights this weekend. The other fights going on, there is a one championship fight happening tomorrow night, I believe. A lot of grappling happening in that one. I think it's Cade Ruotolo versus Mikey Musumeci. That should be a damn good fight. Rod Tang, I think, is fighting in Muay Thai. And I don't know what else. But it's a big weekend of fights. I think there's what else is there? Oh, there's a Ryzen fight happening this weekend, I believe, with Kyoji Horiguchi versus somebody, another big name. But I didn't cover all those because I really wanted to get into all the combat sports news that was happening with all those crazy events. The Nick Diaz versus Masvidal, fucking. There's other videos, by the way, of those brawls, so you can go check it out on X, which is going right there. I am on X. Not very active there, but I will be soon because I'm going to get back on there. A lot of news happens there. So I need to get back on there, start retweeting stuff and all that good shit. And then follow the rest of my social media as well. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on those the most. Instagram and Facebook being really the most. And that's where I do all my promo stuff for the show and everything like that. So go check it out. And don't forget to watch Technically Unsound as well. Sundays and Tuesday nights live, 7 p.m. Arizona time. Come back here next Thursday, same time and place, for a recap of UFC on ESPN 57. And we will go over any other combat sports news, anything else happening around this community here. So that's it for me. I'm done. I'm fucking up my words, so it's time to go. I'm out of here. Thanks again for all the support and love, and appreciate you guys for watching this long. Take it easy. I'm out. Peace.